My name is Rhapsody, and welcome back to Curse of the Dead Gods. I'm just gonna use the 200 here in order to get an extra Divine Favor at the very start. And then I guess I'm gonna run into the... Whoa. I can't do the hard Serpent dungeon right now, can I? Let's go for the hard... not Serpent, sorry, the Jaguar dungeon. And I'm fire, right? So... I'm gonna take a bunch of gold early. Is that right? No, that might be dumb. Yeah, because the gold's gonna deflate in value before I actually really get to spend any of it. Especially because the first place I get to spend is a stats area, which is only gonna cost us 750. Yeah, okay, maybe that wasn't necessarily the best idea I've ever had. But we are committed. Okay, so the resistance of the enemies is higher to a point where a single combo is not enough to kill a basic enemy here. Ooh, plus 20% damage. That's already going to be affecting our weapon. Love it. Hey, and now we are actually back on track in terms of our damage output against these enemies. Yeah, I'm just gonna make these all pretty safe. I'm not gonna try and parry needlessly here. Rather just collect my very easy greed counter and then jump away. Okay, one down, 2, 3, pa, and then charge attack in the other direction. Totally ready for it. Ah, yeah, gotta love a good quick room with the 13 right there. I know we're in hard, but I'm really hopeful that I can get to like a 40 or something early on. That is one thing. I haven't actually been lighting enemies on fire at all. And that is the thing that I built my whole build to be able to do. I was kind of assuming that I was going to wait until I got a weapon that actually lit the enemies on fire for me, but I really should be doing it a little myself at the absolute least. Yeah, that's just awful on my part. That's fine. I was probably going to end up losing it trying to open this door anyway. Yeah, because I was going to have to wait ages for an attack. Plus 20% base damage for shields. Okay. We'll take plus 3 per point of perception so that we can use this weapon to knock people around a little bit. Hup. 1, 2. Give him the offhand counter. Got him. Alright. Yeah! Straight through the gap. Easy. I am kind of just assuming that every obstacle, every failure that I make is going to be the end of my run because it's the hard mode. But it's not really feeling that different yet. I guess it'll feel more different as I get to the first room of the second floor, and instead of taking a bunch of damage but surviving, I die. Because that's exactly how that one's gonna go. We both know it. Nope. No! I really thought I was just gonna be the right position to be able to turn and pivot on a heel there and get the attack. Dang it. Perfect shots weaken enemies. At least we got a two-hander well. And, okay, there we go, fire. We finally have fire on a weapon. I mean, I could just be all ranged using the fire on the weapon as well as my own bow afterwards. I like that. Although, wait a second. My bow has perfect shots weakening enemies already. Why would I use my fire to possibly weaken an enemy if I can just weaken enemies with the bow already? Yeah, we should just be doing this. Down, plus 15 to poison. There we go. We managed to get you to knock that wall down, as well as actually keep the greed kills. Love it. Hate having to choose between them. And... wait a second. There's a summoner back there? No way. Apparently, yes way. I didn't think they could spawn this. Oh, yeah, hard. That makes sense. For harder enemies to spawn earlier than otherwise. Something great. 50% of damage taken in gold? Yeah, it's not awful. It's not good, but it's not... I wouldn't leave it. If I have an inventory slot, I would take it. That's about the level we're talking, right? That's the highest praise I can provide. Yeah, I don't want to get the gold, the 20 gold that might end up causing me to take damage there. Gonna wander away until I find the easiest opening of all time. Also, let me just quickly open that wall there so that I know that I don't need the Death Wife to do it for me. Perfect. I mean, it would feel overwhelmingly hard if the enemies changed like their attack patterns or if they changed dramatically in that kind of a way, because then, you know, you're not... that's not a hard dungeon. That's not a hard version of this dungeon. That's just a different dungeon. Yep. I saw that happening as soon as I rolled towards, because I was already starting... well, I had already lost my greed kill counter if I didn't turn around and attack. Ah, well. It happens. Extra damage on pistols. I mean, we aren't really using pistols at the moment, but if we get a dragon pistol, I'd use it. Plus 30% to poison damage, so yeah, a dragon gun would totally work for us. 250 max health as well as 25% gold twine, thank you. I really can't see any weapon they could put here that I would actually want to get. I'm not going to reroll. I'm not really going to do anything. I'm just going to try and, you know, survive through the room, basically. Okay. This room only really starts to get threatening when there start to be elites. Because up until then, you can take out all the important targets pretty quickly. You can thin down the battlefield to be extremely manageable quite reasonably early. Easy. What do you got for us? Ooh. Dark Riposte occurs after a successful parry. I mean... we have no extra damage modifier for it or anything like that. It is just a nice weapon. Oh, well, here's fire attacks with just 30% extra damage against Elite Champions and bosses. You know what? I'm going to take the Incandescent Claws actually here. It only costs 560. That's not that much to spend. And yeah, they'll be helpful in this next fight. Granted, I am not going to actually be able to afflict this enemy with weakness by hitting them with fire. But I can certainly get their summons. And if nothing else, I can keep the enemy alight at all times. Go. Made sure that I had the distance so that I could get a weakness in there. Up close and personal bow to get the extra weakness again. Yeah. I was just making sure at the very end there that I had the ability to hard commit. We have a Poison Spear, plus 1% damage per point of constitution, as well as the plus 30% damage from the weapons that I already have. This deals critical damage against burning enemies and deals plus 30% damage while in darkness, so that'll actually never work on a burning enemy. However, it does 30% extra damage against elite champions and bosses, as well as deals critical damage against burning enemies. This is really good for burning enemies. Okay. So the idea here is that I'll tag champions that I need to be using a weapon like that against. I'll tag them with the pistol, and then I'll finish them. But all of the rest of the enemies, they're for the Scorpion Spear. This is actually also really good because now I have the ability to light people on fire as well. Whoop. One sec. Just need to quickly get away from all that. Yeah, unfortunately lose my greed kill counter. Sorry, I got used to the timing of the bow. Yeah, it was going to take me a second to get back on track. How did my attack land and kill the enemy there, but also got interrupted? This whole tagging with the pistol thing isn't working as well as I would have liked. Extra damage against weakened enemies. No. Extra damage against weapons of mace. I mean, it is, but I don't have the ability to light people on fire if I take that. Well, that'll do, though. Jaguar Hammer for an extra 1% of max health per enemy kills, as well as it still has plus 30% damage against elite champions and bosses. Oh, and it's fire attacks. I'm really not making the money that I want it to be. I keep getting up to a good greed number and then losing it instantly. I also don't really have any upkeep to speak of yet. Okay. Just keep slapping. Although I am gonna have to, yeah, get the Blood Priest one of these days. There we go. I like at the very least the hammer is pushing enemies far enough away from us that we don't take damage to their corpse explosion. Very necessary. Especially considering how long it takes to wind down from an attack animation with this. I could foresee, like, you know, throwing the hammer down on an enemy and then just immediately taking damage to them way too commonly. Alright. Is that a dragon sleeve gun there? It is. Yeah, no. Wait, hang on. Yeah, yes, actually. Now I have poison and fire again, but I just swapped my two-hander and one-hander, two-hander and off-hander rather, as to which had it. So a rune like that gives you like 60 gold, which feels very unimpactful this late in the game. It really feels like they should be giving you, a little bit more significant than that. Perfect. I'll take a Crystal Skull just in case. We do need some more Divine Favor still, but the Divine Favor gets more expensive every time we buy one. And I don't think I'm yet at the point where I'm comfortable grinding off camera for extra resources for the save file. Yeah, I'll pay for this one with Corruption. We have 2 Relic Rooms upcoming. It's really, really important in one of these Relic Rooms I find some upkeep. Critical damage healing us, 9% max health recovery per room entered. These kinds of things. Negative to gold offering costs. We don't have a shield. As well as plus 2 to dex. Plus 2 to dex is just 4% max HP, max damage. It's worth having. I am intentionally killing these enemies rather than just letting them die to the environment. I've mentioned it a couple times before, but I'll mention it again. Whoop, almost. But specifically so that I can get their Crystal Skull drops as well as their Relic drops, because otherwise their Crystal Skull drops and Relic drops happen in an area that is not super accessible to me. Yeah. I saw that one diminishing there. Thought it a little more important to make sure that I didn't take damage. Well, each greed kill restores 1% of max health. That's it's definitely good enough for me as a replacement for poison attacks. %15% on poison attacks in particular is kind of pathetically low. Sincere offerings. Okay, so blood offerings now cost health. So we restore 2% of our max health per kill that we have with the giant hammer here. Heal 2% when an enemy is killed by the environment. Sure. It also comes with a little bit of dex. I'll take it. But ideally, I will be able to figure out a way to heal up significantly enough that we can start using sincere offerings as a way to actually just buy things. That's the hope at the absolute least. Awful. Exactly not how I wanted this room to go. Tragic. Absolutely tragic. Got clipped on the edge of all of the things I didn't want to get clipped on the edge by. Perfect dodges restore an extra stamina. I like that too. I'm gonna spend HP on it. This is not probably the best idea I've ever had. But you know, every unknown I go to is a haven, so I might as well go to a haven here. It was guaranteed to happen is the thing. That's why it was the right decision. So I only had to pay 40 corruption there for something that typically would have cost me 70. Because I paid the health. Well, I mean, but I paid the health and then I even healed all the way back up. Not just the damage that I took to that, so... Even that's not a fair comparison. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't actually light this enemy on fire. At least not in this form. So, yeah, I don't really have that much I get to do there. Get close, launch a normal attack. Power it way too early. Oh my god, that was awful. There we go. I thought that was going to be a close range attack. There we go. You attack quicker, so I'll use a quicker weapon against you. And then the other one I'll off-put with the parries. Hup, almost. The other one I'll off-put with the parries, and then I'll use the heavier weapon against. Yeah, didn't like that. Not my best fight against this champion. Certainly not my best fight against this champion. At least we got our third parry there, so we might get the weapon drop. But even then, I'm probably not going to want the weapon drop. Oh god, I got corrupted there by taking 60 curse. Enemies explode after a while. I do need to get rid of that. 10% extra damage per active curse. No, thank you. 30% extra damage to poison attacks. Over 15 critical, probably? Main Headman is not a claw, but deals critical damage against weakened enemies. So if we get a fire claw now, that is great for us. Well, heck, let's get a fire claw. If it's as simple as that, let's just do it. Dancing Flames. Flamethrowers automatically activate if you stand in front of them. Okay. I don't know how many flamethrower traps are actually in this area because I don't think I have had Dancing Flames last time I was here. Okay. Finally got that one down. Please. Thank you. Okay. Gosh. Just wanted to make sure that I could get that in time so that I wouldn't have to worry about the Blood Priest re-healing it again. There we go. I'll take a solid 1,000 from this. Could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse in the terms that we died. Could have been a lot better if we actually managed to keep the greed count in the entire string. As well as, you know, deal a bit more damage. Blinding Greed. Amount of gold on the ground increases, but it disappears after a short period of time. That's not that. That's not that bad. Can you please stop healing people immediately as I seek to kill them? It's just rude. Yeah, that absolutely sucked. I just was out of stamina entirely while I was standing in front of both of them. I got overcommitted to using that weapon because I wanted to try and heal back up. So I overcommitted to using the big old slow weapon there. We also didn't really have enough upkeep. We would have needed more upkeep than just, you know, 1% per greed kill and 1% per kill specifically with that weapon. Alright. That's fine. That gives me another opportunity to do a bullet hell. Receive Fulmination, Death's Rampart. Ranged enemies are everywhere and you're in their sights. Your cursed shield might save you with a single parry. Wait a second. Uh-oh. I think I know what this one is. Your cursed shield? Is this your parries can reflect projectiles? Yeah, parrying reflects projectiles. Also, it does 100% extra base damage and takes 100% extra base damage. Also, I imagine, yeah, every enemy, well, not every enemy, but at least most of them are probably going to be ranged. There we go. Score the +3 perception. Take a little bit extra golden bounce out of here. We might just want relics that increase the power of cursed weapons and of our offhand weapons. And then just super triple down on the shields. Actually seems like it might be one of the best ways to handle this here. Okay. So here I was just going to go on a safe gold getting path. It's just unfortunately I have to accept that we have a early weapon shop here that I'm not really going to utilize. Well, I say not really going to utilize. I'm probably not going to utilize it. I said last time about an early weapon shop that I wouldn't utilize it, and then I immediately bought a weapon. Which I used for a total of like 2 fights. There is a lot of power in a shield bash with a plus 100% damage. Nah. I'm not going to reroll there. None of the ranged weaponry looked appealing. Or rather, there was no ranged weaponry that looked appealing. Oh, come on! Oh. Of course there had to be a trap. Ugh. So rude. I would have even been able to keep my greed counter through this room. Finishes weaken enemy, sure. Yeah, I'll take charge attacks hitting an extra time instead, actually. Better area of effect damage might be important after I pepper some enemies down with the shields. So it seems like these are less, like, challenging challenges and more trying to get you to play the game in different ways that you otherwise might not have. Which I recognize the value in, definitely. It's just I shouldn't necessarily be thinking of them as things that are going to be super hard. Although these are the ones for the medium area, right? The ones for the harder area might be, well, actually hard. Because so far, I feel like I just started with a super OP weapon. The differences of there being more ranged enemies don't really impact me. Not if I have the ability to close the gap with some sort of a shield bash. These claws are going to be really, really good for setting up some attacks as well. That's actually one thing. I haven't used the shields offhand combo. Let's do that. So it's like I get to be stationary, but I get to shield bash them backwards. That'd be good for positional playing to try and put enemies into traps. Certainly. Blinding Greed, amount of gold on the ground increases. Apparently it doubles, but it also disappears faster. Hup! Oh, just got all of that at the very end. Perfect timing. Yeah, that can't be doubled, right? Those stacks aren't usually 6. I also have plus 15% gold find. Like 12 is what those stacks I think should be at the moment. What would they have been without? Feathered Spear, each kill restores another stamina. I would prefer this just for the better damage. I'll take the 250 health as well as 10% damage. Happily. Ooh, be another stats shrine. On. Show me statistics. Just want some more decks. Charge attacks deal critical damage. No, I think I'll stick with the fire at will. Not necessarily going to be that great against champions, though. But it's not like the weapon that I turned down was going to be particularly good against champions. If the weapon was the ooh, plus 45% damage to fire attacks, great. If the weapon was the Makana, plus 45% damage against weakened enemies, also great. If my fire attacks weaken a lot of enemies. I was saying something, I got interrupted. Something about stats? I don't know, I lost it. Whew. Yeah, I like oh my god, look at how this carves through enemies despite being a level 1 weapon. Beautiful. Extra damage on pistols. Probably not going to be relevant. Another plus 15% fire attacks? Okay, yeah, I know exactly what we're looking for now. We're just looking for a better version of the Incandescent Claw. Really, like, that's the only thing we want. The shield, honestly, like, the shield isn't part of this run anymore. It's all about that claw, baby. Give him all the business. Almost half of your HP bar in just that single onslaught right there. That's pretty damn good if I say so myself. Yeah, you don't even get a second attack wave, bud. Oh, that was in a greed kill as well. Oh, I love it. I'll replace the pistols, I think, with the negative gold offering cost. Well, actually, restore 50% of max health when a curse is lifted. The thing is, that's currently just 3 decks for us. 3 perception, just 3 perception. 3 perception doesn't matter. I'll replace the 3 perceptions, fine. Well, I mean, it makes sense to go along the path that has a bunch of weapons, right? If I'm going to be looking for specifically a upgraded incandescent claw. Blinding Greed would have been awful in this room. I would have seen through the wall the gold in there and then would not have been able to collect it before it disappeared. I don't think Blinding Greed should be able to make disappear the gold that you haven't yet actually managed to see. Like in your actual line of sight, but it can. 20% chance to inflict fire damage as well as deals critical damage for couple seconds after a perfect roll. Still don't think I want that. Honestly, like at this point, it is just like Incandescent Claw for the guaranteed fire on the first hit. Or nothing, thanks. This room always feels a little unwieldy in terms of the amount of time that you have to spend here for the actual income you get. And also the actual damage. Like, it's not very risky at all. It's just kind of tedious to do that one. I had stamina there and I was trying to roll. I guess I might have tried to roll a millisecond before the stamina came in or something like that. Oh well. No, I'm fine on that front. Like, I know how to, like, handle the second champion. So frankly, this all just comes down to whether or not I end up getting a good fire weapon early enough to not die to attrition. Whew. Okay, everything was handled fine at the very end there. It was tragic right up until that point, though. Yeah, all of that should have been a continued greed kill. Like, the enemies were left on such low HP. I just need to give them one more tap. Fire, charged attacks, and fire combo finishes as well as scales with Constitution. And has critical damage. Is that good enough for me? I don't think so. mean, that one's good. Fine, I'm gonna take a Jaguar Hammer. It's gonna be extremely, extremely powerful for helping us to just clear out some of these rooms. We've got a couple more weapons coming up just to look at. So I'm not hyper pressed on just getting my main weapon right now. Thumb. Yeah, 260 damage on a thumb. Gotta love that. When I actually decide to, you know, be careful about when I use my heavy weapons, I do decently with them. I just need to be more careful about it. Extra damage against burning enemies. Roll that, and that. Okay. So this is what we're down to, like a blazing blade if I want to take the highest level one. Fine. Fine. Deals plus 20% critical damage, as well as we can use charged attacks to open fights. Charged attacks can be criticals as well. Let's have a look at exactly how effective this is. It's looking pretty effective. One thing is, I just gotta make sure that I don't end up over-reliant on opening with a charge attack, because I'm not always gonna have the time and space to be able to do that. Okay. I'll tell you what I'm learning is I can't roll, like I have to roll earlier than I think against every Deadeye. Because that was way earlier than I thought was a viable roll, but that worked. And the last one I thought was definitely going to still be viable, and it didn't. So the timing that I have in my head of the time that I have to dodge those, it's clearly just been wrong for a very long time. Deals critical damage when only one enemy is nearby, as well as restores extra percentage match health. And the thing is, our fire attacks aren't gonna actually... Well, we can't light the enemy on fire in the boss fight. This upcoming boss fight, that is. I might as well take the safe path and just go for a Haven, right? We can't light the enemy on fire, but when we use like a finisher that is a fire-based attack, does it still do more damage to that enemy despite the fact the enemy is immune to fire? Like, do I deal fire damage as a type, but I'm incapable of lighting them on fire, or are they immune to the fire damage as well? Gold puncture, so we just heal as we exit rooms, but we also lose some gold. It's totally fine. The difference matters because my critical... Ooh, weaken enemies. Yeah, we'll take that. Because I am going to weaken enemies, specifically in the night phase of the boss that we're going to be fighting, because I'm going to be parrying it. But it matters, because otherwise our charged attacks and finishes in that fight aren't going to deal extra damage. In which case I should have gone for the previous weapon that I saw, the Sacrificial Makana. The deal critical damage to... Ooh, nice. The one that deals critical damage when there's only one enemy nearby. Very, very good boss fighting weapon. Against most bosses. Plus 50% to all weapons base damage and plus 50% to all damage taken. I love that. Oh, super on board. Gimme. If I'm not actually going to use my cursed weapon, I might as well make my whole weapon set cursed. Oh, another Haven. This is actually kind of fine because I'm already geared up for the boss, so thanks for just moving me to the boss instantly. Okay, never mind. The critical fire attack still does extra fire-based damage here. Light him on. Come on. Can't overcommit there. Yeah, I was pretty sure I rolled there as well. Got him. Taking only one attack, though. Still pretty comfy with that. Perfect. And that is the two short challenges completed, the two medium challenges completed. Now we only have the two long challenges, two hard challenges, as well as a hard dungeon in each the Temple of the Jaguar and the Serpent Temple. At which point we will have completed all of the content that currently exists in the game. After which point I imagine the game might become more seasonal. A kind of game to return as content updates get delivered to the game. But for the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Curse of the Dead Gods. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. There's a playlist in the description down below with all my content on the game past, present, and future. And hopefully we'll see you next time.